There we go. We're live.
Hey!
Hello, everybody.
Hello and greetings and salutations. How are you all doing out there in live land on the Pearlo channel? We got a little special show for you here today, folks.
Mhm.
That's right. We're going to be doing some just straight up hockey talk. We're here talking just hockey. That's it, man. I just wanted to get together with the great Pearlo wisdom and talk about great hockey. Okay, and there's been a lot of great hockey and some great stories that have been going on here in the NHL. And I know if you watch Pearlo during the day, man, you guys get all caught up and everything. So I just want to do the same thing now. We got a couple games going on, and we just want to get everybody's opinion, whatever you guys want to talk about. We're here to talk about a couple other things I do want to get into about as far as how games are progressing and how teams are progressing and stuff like that, and where certain teams are and where certain teams ain't. Because we're just about to that 10 game mark,
Yeah.
right? And you know what I mean? That's that first like yardstick, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it certainly gives you an idea about some things like Chicago Blackhawks. Right now, they'd have to be 16 games over 500 for the rest of the season to even have a sniff of the playoffs. So having those poor starts and
Yeah.
the good thing for them is it's fairly forgivable with all the nonsense that's been going on there, everything there. So Uh, though we've talked about that on my live stream to no end. I think we've pretty much talked it to death. But it's a big
No,
story.
I mean, no. I know, and we talked about it too on off the wall hockey. In fact, the first like I'd say the first 20 minutes of our show last week was straight up about what was going on in Chicago.
Oh
And
yeah,
this was before this was before Bateman came out and said anything. This was before, we even knew who at that point it was still, Victim X.
hmm
Right. We didn't even know who it was or anything like that. But the fact that this was just swept under the rug. I mean, man, that
well,
and
you haven't heard my take on it, so I'll give you a little bit of a take.
I do. That's why. See, this is exactly why I wanted to do this because I purposefully haven't checked it on your show because I knew you were going to be talking about
Right?
this, but I wanted to know what your take was, and I also didn't want you to hear what my take
Yeah,
was.
I,
All
I,
right.
I, I haven't heard what your take is either, so we'll have a
Right.
nice little
Okay.
reaction
Perfect.
thing. Uh,
Perfect.
um,
So what's give me your okay. So uh, look, we already know what the situation is here that a player was uh, assaulted
right,
and things were basically shuffled under the rug or whatever you want to call it,
right.
right? Okay. So what is your take? What is your understanding? What do you feel about this whole situation here?
I still think there's a lot of ways this could be. You know me, I don't look at the face value of anything because very seldom the face value is what you want to get, especially when you're talking about media business. I don't look at the face value of anything. There's a lot of ways this could be going. A
Yeah.
lot of things that could happen here. I got a lot. I had a lot of questions right off the get go, and I still haven't been answered to me. Uh,
Yeah.
First of all, I really have a hard time appreciating how the Wurtzes come out and say what they're saying right now, and there's not immediate accountability to them. I don't believe for a second that they didn't know what was going on at that time. I don't believe it for a second. I believe they knew right there, and $2 million bogus nonsense. No, there's much more than that. And here,
Oh, you mean the fine that they levied, the NHL levied a
yeah,
fine
against the
against
organization just for
Chicago.
whatever's going on. That's just a passive thing. Mr. Wirtz, Rocky Wirtz knew it happened. I believe it. I knew I you would be an idiot to not know that it happened. There's rumors all over the place. You telling me that guy didn't hear these rumors? It's funny how everybody in the land thinks that Taves heard the rumor and Quinville heard the rumor and Kane heard the rumor, but nobody says, well, what about Wirtz? Why is this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wirtz
And
knew.
he was completely excused. He was completely exonerated
Mhm.
by the
So
NHL
far.
that he, you know,
So far.
they felt yeah, well they felt that he didn't, didn't have anything to do with it, or whatever the case, whatever they were thinking. I don't
Okay,
know what they were
let's
thinking.
take it even further. Okay. These rumors
Yep.
that are happening at that time. Okay. They
Mm.
like apparently rumors were like, you know how rumors are. There's no way in heck they kept this in house. Like if anybody knew anything about it, if Kyle was talking about it to anybody, it went all over the place. Everybody knew. And I
You'd
believe
have to
the
assume.
league knew.
Yeah.
So what's the league
Yeah.
doing? Scapegoating the crap out of this and just trying to holding their breath and hoping that nobody is calling them accountable. Why do you think this union guy isn't going to get this union guy is going to get nothing? He's going to get nothing because if they go after that union guy, he's going to sue
Yeah.
them to the freaking he will get nothing. Wirtz. If they go after Wirtz, what do you think he's got for lawyers, my friend? So the
Yeah.
little guys, Quinville and a couple guys scapegoat. Let's pretend this didn't happen. We'll have this nice little hug fest for Beach, right? And we'll be transparent to this point, and then we're gonna make sure it never happens again and it's gone. I think it's a bunch of crap. I don't buy it for a
So you
second.
yeah. Okay, so you feel that the league is basically not stepping up to the plate,
No,
is basically not manning up
no,
and taking care of what they need to take
no.
care of. That's what you feel,
Of
correct?
course, they knew all about it. I
Okay.
don't believe for a second that
Yeah.
they didn't know about this at
Yeah.
that time.
Yeah. Uh, I'm gonna have to second that, man. I really can't believe that. And I talked about this on the show with John, and I'm gonna say the same thing. For a very, 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 very long time, you look at that, and I'm gonna bring in a really relative NFL reference here. Okay.
Hmm.
And what I mean by that is this: when you look at that NHL shield,
Yeah,
that NHL shield represents a lot of very good things.
right.
Okay. It represents a lot of very good people. It represents a lot of very good organizations. It represents a lot of very good, coaches, players, unions, organizations, the whole nine yards. It represents a lot of good things. The problem is that this kind of stuff is making that shield look bad. And the people behind that shield aren't doing the things that they need to be doing to continue to make that shield look good. And I'm not trying to say that that they should be doing things to make a shield look good. What I'm trying to say is that they're just doing stuff on the surface. Yeah, we had a talk with Quinville. We gave a $2 million fine to Chicago. Look, we're doing something.
Yeah,
We had a major talk with the victim. Bateman came out and had this press conference and sounded like I
devastated and like, oh, I did. Like, we can't
mm.
believe. We just can't believe. I just don't buy it for a second. I don't buy it. Oh, do you want
Okay,
to hear
so
something cool though? Just before you
wait,
go.
wait, hold
Sorry.
on, hold on. Let me just finish this thought before we move on, because I want to hear what you're thinking here.
Hmm.
The fact that this was known about since December of 2010 or whatever,
Hmm.
that season, right? They knew about it that season in 2010 and chose to not do anything, even though it was reported to the league, even though there were doctors that were involved and other things that were involved and everything else like that. As you said before, we don't know the full story, but the fact of the matter is that here we are 11 years later, and we're just now talking about this.
Yeah.
This guy's life has been ruined, and how many other people's lives have been ruined and affected because somebody couldn't speak up and say something,
Right.
because somebody couldn't be man enough to step up and say what needed to be said and protect this young guy and this young player.
Yep.
Because look, these guys come into the league, they're 18 years old, they're very impressionable. You know what I mean? A lot of these guys have spent how many years away from their family already? You know what I mean? I I really think this just makes the league look very bad. I feel so very bad for the people that were victims in this, and I just don't feel that enough is being done by the league, by the organization, or by the NHLPA.
Right. Oh, okay.
So that's my stand.
Well, I mean, yeah, my big thing is that, like I said, the small guys get. I wanted to say something. The reason why, here's my reason why, that my lean is that Quenneville didn't know what they said they knew. They, I talked to Cheveldayoff. They talked to Cheveldayoff yesterday, right?
Yeah.
And he did a report, right? Cheveldayoff said what was said in that meeting. I don't see how he said it like this. What was said in that meeting? I don't see how anybody could know what happened.
Well, how is it then that if almost if almost everybody in that meeting is either fired or resigned or something, why is that other guy still going? Why has
Well,
he was in that meeting?
Cheveldayoff was not a senior management guy. So
Okay, well,
he and there was another meeting apparently, whatever the case may be, but he said that whoever was in that meeting, I don't think that they would have known exactly what was going on. That what he said was something about a text. All they said was it about a text message and inappropriate text message. That's all it was. So why was Quenneville? Here's another thing that uh, and this is another thing. Jonathan Taves, he said Bowman, Stan Bowman. He said
yeah,
this is what he said. He said I think he's a great man, and I know his character, and I've known him for a long time. And I don't think he knew. He said it in a way. He's like, I'm very doubtful about the information that he knew. Jonathan Taves came out. This is a guy who's Mr. Professional, who is Mr. Serious. He comes out in public and puts this little thing. Hey, how you doing, guys? Oiler man, welcome in. He puts this out in public. I heard these little snippets. These guys are getting scapegoated. And shut up. We'll hire you back later, but we need you to go right now because we got to deal with this, and that's the way it is. So that's what's happening. I believe the league knew it the whole time, and they're saving face. And this guy and Beach, or is it Beach, right? Kyle Beach, right?
yeah, Kyle Beach, yeah.
The reason why it took so long is because they convinced him of a civil suit, and I don't bemoan him for that. He's going to take the money, and it's going to be over. That's what's going to happen. And there was far more to
Yeah.
this than you know. And
Oh yeah.
this and the league's going to get off scot free. And the league was the problem, and the Wirtzes were the problem. They were the ones that did it. They gave misinformation, and they're covering it up, and they're doing it well. And that's the way I see it. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong, I guess. But that's what I believe is happening.
Do you think that there's going to be any more repercussions?
No, they're going to get this out of here as fast as possible after this. They scapegoated two people. That's enough right now. They'll get their jobs back. Like they'll get a job somewhere else. Maybe not. Maybe not Bowman. Bowman, maybe not. But Quenneville will get a job somewhere else for sure. They're going to do a whole bunch of stuff, backstepping, working with people that have been abused or something of that nature. Build their character back up again, and they'll be back in the league. They're just keeping their mouth shut because they will never be back in the league if they don't.
So here's another question for you then too. So you mean to tell me that Florida didn't know any of this?
Well, probably. I mean, you just go like on and on and on here to the people that didn't know it or don't know. Okay, let's get. We did that. So we got Oilers man is asking if there's a Taresenko trade soon. So
Oh my. I don't know, man. I keep seeing this Tarasenko for Kachuk or Eichel for Kachuk, and I keep seeing all this stuff. But man, Tarasenko has been playing incredible.
mhm.
So I mean, he's probably playing to see because look, it would make sense for him to play well because he's showing the league that he's still capable, even though he's had 2/3 shoulder surgeries that he's only technically had two or however many he's had. He's playing well, so I guess.
Oh, I know,
Oh, I'm
but
sure he
Tarasenko
does.
still wants a trade. So apparently,
Oh yeah,
whatever there was a lack of
but the
trust
only thing,
with St. Louis.
yeah, but the only thing he can do right now is show the league
Yeah,
that he is still Tarasenko and still capable of playing at that high level.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's going to be tough for him. Like he's playing really well, so St. Louis is not motivated to trade him. He's potting goals like
Right.
crazy. On the same note, though, they
Yep.
would have told him, "Go play well, and we'll find a trade for you." So if that's the case, they better honor their word and give the guy a trade. I think right now his
And
value might be high as ever. He looks great.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, he does. He really does. I mean, I was one of the people that was quite surprised, honestly, with how well he came out of the gates this year. With after all the controversy and all the the injuries and surgeries and the whole 9 yards and the trade and the lack of trade and there was no takers and blah 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 and well the guy just came out and said okay well I guess I'll just play hockey. So hey, go play
Yeah,
hockey. He's getting paid, right? So go play hockey. That's the thing that I understand. And, you see other players and stuff, and they always say, yeah, they want a trade and everything else like that. And, that's not always the easiest thing in the world to do. It's like you getting your job, right? And you work at your job for a couple of years and you realize, wow, I don't want to do this job for this company anymore.
hmm
So now this other company over here wants to hire me. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that. It's like I don't know. I guess maybe
Well,
I'm
I
just
don't. The
I'm
whole thing happened with his injury, and we're only speculating here. I don't know what happened, but I think there was. I think he felt that they didn't believe him about his injury. That they tried to force him back too soon, and he said no, and they were. He got a very big impression that they didn't believe him about the injury, and that was enough for him to go. You know what? I don't know if I want to work for a team, play for a team that's going to pressure me to come back from my injury the way like that. Again, that's my guess. So I'm not sure what exactly all happened there, and I don't blame him in that sense.
Yeah, I don't
I don't
either.
blame him in that sense. So he's decided, and that's the reason why I say think that that's the likely reason what happened is because he still wants out. Like you're not going to
Yeah,
build that bridge. It's
still
not
wants
going
to
to matter
trade.
how well St. Louis does. And another reason why I think it was something of that nature is because he was willing to go anywhere. He's got a no
Yeah,
trade clause, and he was willing. He didn't. He would have went to Buffalo. He doesn't care. He just wants out of there, which tells me he's probably a pretty good-hearted person who's just looking out for his own best interests, and I have no problems with that. Now the next question is, and that I believe he will be traded. The next question is where and for how much at this point.
and yeah, exactly. And who's gonna be the one that's gonna pull the trigger on that? You know what I mean? So let me ask you this question then: do you think is it a fair assessment to because look, anything that happens with Eichel is gonna involve him doing his whatever his medical procedure thing is that he needs to do, or whatever it is that he needs to fix himself, or whatever he feels that procedure that he needs to do in order to be healthy.
Right. Yep.
Okay. So he's going to do that. Anything that's going to involve Eichel is going to involve that.
Yeah.
What team? Because he still hasn't had the procedure yet. And if he does have the procedure, he's out for how long? Right?
No, he's had no,
Six,
no, no. Oh,
seven,
are you
eight
talking
months.
about Eichel? You mean? Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Right,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
right, right. Yeah.
Yeah, if he has the procedure,
He said
he's out for.
they figure 3 months to 4 months. It's actually not that bad. It's the re
Okay, but
it's the re yeah. It's one of the reasons why he wants to do that procedure. And by the way, they
right.
have now made an agreement that he can do it. Yeah,
Really?
this came out today that they made an agreement that he can do it. So he's able to do that procedure now. This was an insurance thing. I'm not sure. I like people. People have been roughing up Buffalo quite a bit in this situation, and uh, I I don't think it's. I don't I can see Buffalo's side on this. If they got to go by what their doctors say, he's going by what his doctors say. Uh,
Yeah, it's a he said, she said kind of thing. I get it. But I mean, in the end, right? In the end, it's all about. I'm sorry, but in the end, it's all about the player. Because if you don't have the player, then you don't. I mean, you know what I mean. Especially somebody of his talent and stuff. You know what I mean. It's just it's all going to come down to the player. And if he is not capable or willing to be there, then
yeah.
So yeah, I'm with you. Hey, welcome in NHL Hockey News
Oh, he's
Reports.
here. Sweet.
Greetings.
Right on. Now,
Yeah,
now we
man.
can.
Oilers, man.
Now,
Thanks for jumping
now
in.
the Frolic can reach levels of unknown. Okay,
Uh
so anyways,
oh.
Taresenko. Let's get to okay. Which one do we want to do? Do you want to do Taresenko or Eichel, where they're going to go or whatever?
Do you think that's my biggest question is, because no matter what happens, it's going to involve Eichel going through that procedure, especially now that Buffalo has given him permission to do so.
Mhm.
So any team that's going to have to take him is going to have to live with the fact that he's going to have this procedure.
Yeah.
And what team out there is even remotely going to do that?
Uh,
Is Taresenko a trade bait guy for Eichel? I mean, you know what I mean?
no, it's going to be. It's basically this. It's basically you're going to have to blow Vegas out of the water for them not to get him.
Oh, you think Vegas is going to go after
Oh
Eichel?
yeah, absolutely. He's going there unless somebody
Oh,
outbids them for sure. They're
okay.
to me that's the team without a doubt. Yes, NHL report says that they would get a solid
Okay.
package for Taresenko. So we'll talk about that next. But Vegas is going hard after Eichel right now. They need a center so bad. They're not winning a cup even if everybody comes back with that center group that they have and they know it. And they're the team that will. Well, it's Vegas. Will gamble.
So 3 months. So that's he has this was November, December, January. So if Eichel has the procedure done in say the next 2 weeks, he could potentially be back for the last week of the season and potentially the playoffs.
Uh,
Depend
yeah,
right? You say he'll be out for 3 months,
something
right? So
like
you give
that.
him an extra,
Yeah, he'll be back for the
right? So you give
playoffs.
him,
Yeah.
yeah. So you give him an extra couple weeks for rehab or whatever, or some work down in the minors or whatever you want to call
Yep.
it. But so that if he gets any team that takes him is going to have to at least wait until
Oh, you got to remember
playoff
it's
time
an
or
Olympic year
soon.
too, right? So there's a gap there. There's a later gap. He should be back before this. before the in the regular season, because this is an Olympic year, so they're taking what, 2 weeks off.
Yeah, the month of February, there's only like 1 week of hockey or
Yeah,
so because there's the All Star break and then there's the 2 weeks of 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 Olympics.
that's why the Habs won the series over Vegas, because their strategy is shot from the point, and the Habs could block it. And yeah,
I mean,
it's
I get it. I get
but
it. I
so anyways, so this look now. Let me explain why I also believe that Vegas is going to be the one.
okay.
Okay, unless somebody outbids them all to heck, and the only one I think doing that is Anaheim. But the reason why I think Vegas is the one, think about this: you get the guy, you're talking to your doctors, right? Your doctors are saying that he could come back and be at least, he's got to get back into the groove and stuff like that. But he could be at least a point a game center by the time the playoffs come, right? So you don't have to pay him. All of this comes off your cap. They're thinking about trading Carlson for him and Smith. Then they just
Yeah.
need, and then they're in a weak division. So, but guess
Yeah.
what? They can go out and get somebody else
Yeah.
until the playoffs.
Because they're not going to have to spend that money's not going to count on their books until he's in the lineup.
Yeah.
Are they going to pull a Tampa Bay? Is that what you're saying?
No, it's pretty much, except that they made it different now that you have to. How did they do it now? Like you have to be the lineup you put on the ice has to be under the cap in the playoffs. Yeah, the lineup you put on the ice has to be under the cap in the playoffs. That's how it works now. So you can't be.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
yeah, yeah, that's how it works. But they could still work with that, and
Yeah.
they could go out and get another center from a team that's completely out of it, play with that center until Eichel comes, and now they'll have like a crushing top three pair in the
No, I
playoffs.
you no, I yeah, gosh, that would be I mean, that's what makes the most sense, you know what I mean? And I understand that completely.
Mm-hmm.
And NHL Hockey News reports, yeah, man, I'll tell you what. And Oilers, man, thank you guys for hopping in and being so some great questions here, man, but having Eichel go to Vegas definitely makes the most sense. It
Yeah.
really does. It
Now,
really, really does. You
now
know,
the
the
thing
more
is,
you think about it.
the thing is the package, right? Because now, if I'm Buffalo in this situation, you gotta look at how you're going to get the maximum return. I believe it's going to be a three-way trade, and the third team that's going to be involved in the trade, I believe, is the one that has also been the most aggressive, been very aggressive in getting Eichel, and that's Calgary. So, because Calgary wants to upgrade their second line center position, Monahan's not doing it. He can't come back from his injury, and Backstrom's not the guy. So what I did it. I'll kind of paint a picture because I did it in my live stream earlier today, right? You send Carlson, you send Carlson to Calgary. Vegas gives Carlson to Calgary. Calgary uh, gives Connor Zary, who's ripping it up in junior, really looking good, top line center for in his
Yeah.
junior. Connor Zary, Valimaki, who's been struggling in Calgary, but he's big, solid, looks like a really good defenseman.
Yeah, he does. He does.
Valimaki, uh, and a package of prospects and picks to go to uh, that goes to Vegas. Okay, they get Carlson. Now, as far Vegas gives Buffalo, what did I'll take a look at it here just to make sure. I want to make sure I got it right. Smith,
Yeah.
who is
Yeah.
good, who will end up being a second round pick because he's not going to probably sign there.
Right.
Alex Tuck, who won't play for 6 months, but you know Alex Tuck,
Yeah.
freaking love him, right? Big
Of
solid winger
course.
like that.
Of
Uh,
course.
they're not really needing to win now. Like they're doing well
Yeah.
right now, but they're not going to hold on to that. They know it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
That actually makes a lot of sense, man. That makes a lot of sense.
Alex
And
Tuck,
it clears out a lot of space for Vegas to bring him in. You know what I mean?
yeah, first round pick. And again, I got to look deeper at the prospects and prospects. So now Buffalo gets a, a premium top line, maybe second line center, like big stud center in Zari. Valimaki, a big solid defenseman for the future that's young. How
Yeah.
many how many first round picks? Smith
Right.
that can turn into a second. Alex Tuck, who's a big, solid, just love him type of winger. This team now all of a sudden starts looking like this rebuild isn't really a rebuild anymore.
Yeah. Okay. And this all of this stuff gets shipped from Vegas to Buffalo, right?
Oh, do
And
I think
all
that, just one sec, do I think that the third team would retain part of, maybe there's a possibility too. That's a pretty cool idea. I never even thought about that.
Well,
Sorry,
yeah,
go ahead.
because $10 million is a lot of money. But if they go to a team and he's injured and it's not going to matter because they're his money's not going to be on the books until at least he comes back. So they're going to have some time to deal with him before he comes on the books. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So they might not have to worry about retaining salary because his salary isn't going to go isn't going to count against them. I do believe though NHL news hockey news reports that as part of the CBA, I believe that I think you're right. I think there is at least a 10% or there is some percentage, I believe, in the CBA to where the original trading team has to retain some kind of something.
No, no, no,
I'm
no,
not
no,
I'm
no,
not sure about that,
no,
but
no. That's not true. What he was saying is that Calgary could retain, like, say, Calgary could take Eichel first, trade him off, trade whatever they're going to trade. They could retain 10% of his salary, which would be like $1 million, and then they could get even a bigger package back from Vegas. But I don't think that the salary cap is too much. They wouldn't need to do that. Vegas is desperate. Vegas is the most desperate team out there. So because they got to win now and they know it. Their plan was
pretty
to win
much.
now, build as much of a fan base as you could get, and then when you got to rebuild, you hold on. That's what Vegas's plan has been all the way up to it.
But you
That
know what though? Yeah, and it's unfortunate though that they've hit the injury snag this year.
Yeah, well, it is and it isn't because it's, you know what they're doing. Know what it's doing? It's giving them
It's
more
forcing
cap
their
room.
hand.
It's giving them more cap room.
Well, it
Don't
is, but it's also forcing their hand too.
It is. I think it's more giving them more cap room. I wouldn't, because it was a whole COVID situation, right? So think about
Yeah.
this for a second. I know this is a little deeper than people think. Stone and Pacioretty out. They're some of their biggest cap hits. How hard it is to say, you know what, we better be careful here with whatever you did or whatever. You better go on COVID protocol. We'll try to hold on for now and you go on COVID protocol. And all the while, they're collecting cap space, collecting cap space, collecting cap space. People are using COVID protocol to collect cap space, my friend. All of the teams are, the league is very sensitive about it. They don't want to take any chances. So if they think
Right.
there's any chance, do you notice that they haven't said what the COVID protocol is all of a sudden? Nobody talks about it because they know that people are doing
You're
it.
just on the list.
The league knows about it. You just go on the list. That's it. They're collecting
Yeah.
cap space, and then that's how they're gonna be able to add more at the deadline. Watch Vegas load up at the deadline, man. It's gonna be silly. They are going to bring in. They're going to bring in people, any players from all over the place. They're going for it this year, hardcore, hardcore.
I, there's no doubt in my mind about that, especially after the last 2 years of how Vegas has been, of how they've played, gotten to the playoffs, and then lost in the playoffs. So I completely understand why they are in win now mode, and I completely understand that. I really like, though, the idea of Eichel going there. And you know what, though? they're going to probably have to. One of those guys, Stone, Pacioretty, one of them guys is going to probably have to go.
No, 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 no,
You
no,
don't think so?
no. Carlson's a guy. Carlson might have to go.
Carlson's a guy. All right.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit painful, but they know that they can add a second line center because they don't need to pay Eichel until just before the playoffs. So they can add a second line center to replace Carlson. So
That's true.
Carlson will go, but Pacioretty and Stone, no freaking way. They're not going nowhere. You're not getting them.
Yeah.
And they've
Okay.
got
No, I was just curious.
Vegas has got a lot of leverage too, because everybody knows they want them, but they don't need to take them right now. They are in a weak division, so they can probably hold on close enough that when they can make this trade, so they can make it totally make sense for them. They could even do something like bring Monahan over from Calgary, who's been struggling in Vegas, and see how he does for this year, because he's a free agent at the end of the year. And if he does, they could do that. They Carlson and then Monahan comes over and give him a shot, see how he does. If he doesn't work out, you put him in the garbage bin and you move on. That's what Vegas is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Vegas throws stuff at the board and sees what happens. That's what they do.
They've been doing that since they started.
Yeah. They've been doing it well, don't get me wrong, but that's pretty much what they're doing,
I mean, I get it. I'm with you. I understand, but this has been great, man.
Smith is going to go too. Yeah, he's a free agent at the end of the year, so he would be, and Buffalo could trade him for a second at the deadline, so they'll get it. That's like an additional second round pick, unless he really works out well and he wants to stay in Buffalo, and maybe they sign him up. He's a good two-way winger, so
right.
Mm-hmm.
I got you. You know what I mean? So, I got a question here for you now, and I'm a little bit shocked about this. We've talked about some trades. We talked about Eichel and Taresenko and everything else like that. But what do you think about? Oh, and we went quite a long time here where we had winless teams, and we went a long time here, and we still have a team that hasn't lost yet, haven't we?
Yeah, we got Carolina is playing right now, and
they haven't lost yet.
And they are ripping it up, but they're not winning yet against Chicago.
No, it's only tied 1-1.
Yeah, but they're out shooting them like 14-4 or something like that.
Right, but what I want to kind of circle back around to is the Arizona. I mean, I really thought that these guys were going to be bad, but I didn't think it was going to be this bad.
Oh, I did. I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be this bad. They're actually starting to look like they're gelling as a team. Oh my gosh! Something bad just happened. Is he okay? Sorry, dude. No, I guess he's okay. He's okay.
Oh, what were you? Which game are you watching?
Svechnikov just went headlong into Fleury. Oh my gosh, it looked bad, but it's not bad.
Okay.
It's okay. So, anyways, I thought it was. You look at the lineup. I was like, this is the worst lineup I've seen since Anaheim's first year, something like that, maybe.
Or no, that the 2-3 years ago, Buffalo.
No, worse than that.
Worse. Okay.
It's worse.
What about what was it? Was it like 2009 or 2010 Montreal? Like they started the season off with like 9 or 10. They didn't win their first 9 or 10 games, something like that.
Yeah.
I know Montreal. Yeah.
So you want to talk about the bad teams this year? Is that what you're saying? Like, okay, Arizona. You know what I love about?
I was just a little shocked at how bad. I didn't think it was going to be that bad. I guess it really is. I mean, it's pretty much a bunch of AHLers out there.
Sure, but it's going to get better. One of the reasons why it was so bad is not only were they bad on paper, like horrible players,
right?
Not they're NHL players, but like they're also a grab bag of NHL players. Like they weren't. They had no new coach.
Yeah.
Rookie coach with a bunch of misfits that have not played with each other, and there's no identity already on the team. Wow.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So, But
That's a technical term, by the
give
way.
it to Turney though. Let's give it to Turney though. He
Yeah.
he's got these guys looking like not too bad, man. In Philly, they were they won the first period in Philly, right?
And I think they played a little. I think they still even played better in the second period too. So, yeah, I'm with you on that.
They
Hockey
gave
News Report.
Carolina a go. You know what I mean? Like now,
Yeah,
Carolina, I know what Brindamore was doing in that game. He was like, "Look, the only way we're going to lose this is if they get fluky goals. So we're
yeah,
just going to be puck management all game, win 2-3-1. We're not trying to blow these guys out. Not only that, Brindy is freaking so intelligent. Stevie Y and then Brindamore are my favorite male humans on the planet. I think. Uh,
Oh
I
wow,
think
gosh, man.
Brindamore's going to be a general manager too. By the way,
I thought Tortorella was one of your favorite.
no, no. I told you he was the best in the league, but not my favorite.
I'm just I
Barry
I'm
Trotz.
just I'm
Yeah.
just picking on you.
Okay, so
Just
let's
picking.
go back to this again. Brindamore, there's something else that goes even deeper. Brindamore doesn't do anything he does things for the short term and for the long term.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, he's a very cerebral coach.
Guy's a
He like
genius.
yeah,
Genius.
but I'm
Yeah,
yeah,
very cerebral
but
coach. Good way to put it. But you know what he
he
also doesn't want to do? He
show
doesn't
his
want to
hand either.
no, he doesn't want to embarrass them
That's
for
true.
several reasons. He wants his players to show respect to people and be respectful as human beings, which builds character, right?
Yeah,
Number 2,
yeah,
if ever they come back again and they're good and you blow them out,
yeah.
right? What they're going to be after you, right? So he doesn't want to wake any sleeping bears in the future. Is
That's
number
right.
2.
Yep.
And number 3, it's a great opportunity to work on your defense.
I'll
So
say.
so he did all of
Yep.
those things all in one time. Like I just freaking love that guy. Love him to death. Just love him to death.
Being able to have the opportunity to watch him play and the type of player that he is or was, and now seeing that he's taken that personality and transferred that into being a coach. Look, Hockey News reports I like Trotz for what he's done as far as how he's won the cup with Washington and what he's done with the Islanders. Unfortunately, Brindamore hasn't won a cup yet, but I think his time is coming.
Oh yeah.
And Trotz just. I have to go with Brindamore, man. I have to go with Brindamore. I get why Trotz is up there, and I understand why he's won the Jack Adams, and I can't take anything away from what he's done in the island, and I can't take anything away from what he's done with the Caps. Okay, but if I was building a team from scratch, I would pick Brindamore.
Okay, so you're asking me who I like better, right? I'm not. No, you're not asking me who is better. You're asking me who I like better. I
Oh well,
uh,
okay. Who
that's
I
what.
like better?
Now I don't know if that's what he's asking me or not. If you ask me who I like better, Brindamore has been my male crush since he was played hockey. I've loved Brindamore to death from the time he put skates on an NHL rink. The first time I watched him play, I was like, aha, this is what hockey's all about right here. Right?
He's
So
definitely a Perlo guy.
so definitely I like Brindamore better as
Yeah.
far as that is concerned. Who is the better coach? I don't think it would be right for my soul to answer that question. Those guys are both absolutely
See
amazing coaches,
that
and I just
okay.
really don't think I could tell you one or the other. Barry
I could
Trotz,
just
Barry Trotz has a cup, so I guess you got to give it to him.
yeah.
He's did it.
Something in your soul would break if you did something like that, man. I get you.
No, it just doesn't make it just doesn't seem right. They're just so amazing. Like, sometimes it's like artists, you have artists, and people say, who's the better artist, and I'm like, who cares? Like really, like why would I want to think about that? They're just absolutely insanely amazing. So I can't answer that question. And same as them. I have both of those men on such high pedestals to try to pretend I'm critiquing them would seem foolish. Like,
I
yeah,
mean, even when they lose, they still are the smartest people in the room.
yeah.
You know, I mean, I
Rod
don't know. I
Rod Brindamore sub to me. Oh yeah, for sure. He's watching right.
first
If he wasn't
he's
doing the
watching the
game,
show.
if he wasn't doing the game right now, I'm sure he'd be
That's
watching
right. He'd be watching.
for
That's right.
sure.
Unfortunately, he's at a game right
He'll
now.
watch it later after
Yeah. Yeah.
after the
Exactly.
video with the guys. Yeah. Yeah, I will. If I
That's
ever meet Rod Brindamore, like people say, like who's a guy that might make you shake a little bit or whatever. Like like Rod Brindamore and Stevie Y. I think I would have my mouth would get dry pretty quick if I had to talk to either one of those guys. So,
okay. So, have you met anybody? Like, have you met anybody? I mean, who have you met?
Wayne Gretzky. I
Oh,
have.
well.
I don't part. I
So
don't
wait, you
part.
didn't have any problems meeting the great one, but yet you'd be nervous meeting Trotz
Yeah.
or
Oh, don't get me wrong. I was nervous a little bit, but the environment I was in made it really easy.
okay,
I don't partake anymore, but at the time I used to have a beer or two every once in a while. And
okay,
I was in a establishment that, and it turns out there was a place that he regulated from time to time. My dad owned a
okay.
so it was a very private type establishment. It wasn't like swanky or anything. Opposite, because that's not Gretzky. Gretzky
Yeah,
is
he doesn't come across like that.
nah. This was like a bar, dude. A bar.
Yeah, right.
Now it was also a bar for people.
Wait. No. This place was a Canadian tavern.
Yeah, I guess you would say that. Yeah, but it was also a
All right.
place that a lot of businessmen did go to, but you would never know it. So that's what made it
Yeah.
good. And it was out of the
Okay.
way and stuff like that. So he would
Yep.
slip in every once in a while. And basically, people knew that if he didn't talk, you didn't talk. It was kind of his place to go all by himself, have a couple beer, head out to the cab, go home. Okay.
Right. Okay.
But every once in a while, he'd get moving. He'd start talking. And the first time I met him, he was in a talkative mood. And I got to listen to him talk. And you completely forgot that he was Wayne Gretzky. Totally, totally. I had to shake my head sometimes and go, wait a second. Like this might as well have
Yeah.
been the farmer down the street. Like he didn't have any idea.
Like like you were just sitting there with the farmer down the street talking to Wayne Gretzky
Pretty
about stuff
much.
that he. Yeah.
He was so
Good gravy.
loose and so un like there was not a single air about that guy from the time he walked in to the time he died. If you didn't know who he was, you would have no
Yeah.
clue. He took
No.
a
Yeah.
cab. He didn't take a limo. You know,
Yeah.
he just took a normal cab that you would anywhere else to the bar and have a couple beer and then go home. And that
Right.
was it.
One thing that I have found about like well-known people that I've met, most of them are trying to be as incognito as possible. So the best way to be as incognito as possible is to act like everybody else. You bring a stretch limo up,
Yeah,
right? You're wearing fancy clothes and sunglasses and bling and blah blah blah. You're drawing attention to yourself,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Right?
I
So
don't
he's
think he would
probably
ever
wearing a
take.
little derby or a little beanie cap or something and a tweed jacket that goes up over his face a little
No,
bit.
you're
You know,
right, but he's wearing those stuff because that's what Wayne Gretzky is. I think Wayne Gretzky would be uncomfortable in a limo. He's
I agree.
uncomfortable with his money. Like he doesn't. And the
Yeah.
funny thing is, he's got this beautiful model wife who is a model and does very well for herself too. I got to I can't remember her name now. It's gonna bug because we're talking about it. Otherwise, it would come right to my head right now.
Of
But
course.
I happened to meet her one time, and she is exactly the same way. Just the sweetest lady. You would
Oh,
think that
okay.
you would think that she was just a, somebody that anyone. Like I've met other players. I met Bill Ranford, Keith Kachuk, the Semenko, uh, Muni, because I worked in the restaurant industry when I was young. I was a bartender. So
Yep.
they used to, it was a popular place that they used to go to. And all of those guys were cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
nobody was, well, sort of. Kachuk, maybe I shouldn't. I don't want to slander someone because he's probably changed now. But nobody was like what I'm talking about Wayne Gretzky. Like nobody was that.
Like that open, that that open, that friendly, that engaging when
That
he feels like it.
that genuinely
Yeah.
simple, regular dude. Pure, genuinely not putting on an air. Wouldn't even know how to do anything else if you tried. Like
Right.
he
I'm with
wouldn't
you.
even know how to put on an air. I don't think if he tried to. So
I I really like what he's done with the TNT show, and what his influence has been on that.
I
Like,
love it. I love it.
yeah, I mean, it's great seeing him out there talking hockey again. I mean, finally, they're starting to bring hockey people in to talk about hockey. I mean, I get what NBC was trying to do, but you can't bring in guys that don't know anything about hockey to try to get them to talk about hockey. And what I think that TNT did, and even ESPN to an extent, was bring in guys that know hockey.
I love him on that show, and I'll tell you, his public speaking, he must have like took classes. He's not a
Yeah,
natural public speaker at all, and he
you can
does.
tell.
Yeah, but it doesn't. You see what I mean about how genuine the guy looks? He almost looks uncomfortable in the suit. Like he is such a genuine dude. And that's the other thing that I'm glad people get to see. His sense of humor is freaking amazing. He will make you laugh, belly laugh all day long. He is
Yeah.
so
See,
funny. Dry,
I heard
dry
stories.
Canadian
Yeah.
sense of humor.
I heard stories about how he was a very much a humorous guy, very much likes to kid around with people and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And if you notice, even in the TNT shows, he very rarely will wear like a suit and tie. He wears like a sweater
yeah,
or a
yep.
turtleneck.
He's
You
uncomfortable in
know,
suits. Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
so okay, and I get it. I mean, a tie is like having a really small person hang around your neck all day.
yeah,
Okay, I
yeah,
get
yeah, yeah. He's like if
it.
you know like knowing him like I know him like I the one time I did see him he was wearing a suit and he didn't look very comfortable in it and that's probably what happened. They were probably like, yeah, you're not going to wear a suit.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no,
They
yeah, don't,
wanted
yeah,
him to
no.
wear a suit and then he went and did it for them and he's like, yeah, yeah, you're not going to wear a suit.
Yeah, no,
By
no,
the way,
no.
can you give mad respect for the coif he's got going on there? He got himself some new hair, dyed it up nice. Oh my gosh, it looks good. It looks good.
Okay, he does look quite dapper.
He does look dapper. He looks more
There
dapper
you
than
go.
I.
That's a good word.
That's the most dapper I've ever seen Wayne Gretzky look. He looks
I
really good.
agree. Okay, so you're saying that he has some lettuce up there.
Oh
He
yeah,
had to get
for
added.
sure. There's no doubt about it. I don't blame him a
Okay.
bit. If I'm gonna go do a show like that, I'd probably plop something on my head too, for sure.
Why?
No,
Dude,
yeah,
no,
I would.
man. You
No,
no, no.
I would. I would. You know what? I may still someday. I don't really care either way, but I may still someday. I may do it.
Perlo, let me tell you something, man. The wig was the greatest idea that you did last year, and watching you with that thing
Oh.
on,
We just happened to
uh,
have the worst summer we've had in years that year. It was so
I,
hot in this place. Oh my
I
god.
know.
Oh, it's terrible. Anyways,
But seeing you wear that wig, anyway, yeah.
let's get to some hockey.
Way off onto a tangent there
That's
on
what it's
that one.
all
So
about. That's what it's all about. It's just why it's an extravaganza. You never know what you're gonna get.
exactly.
Yeah.
Either way, though, I still think you're going to see Buffalo, or I still think you're going to see the Blues eventually is going to have to trade. And I still think you're going to see Eichel and Buffalo are going to have to eventually part ways too.
Well, that's
It's
happening, yeah,
just
for sure.
right. It's just going to be interesting as to how it's all going to fall down, or how how the bricks are all going to come down, and how it's all going to fall, and who's going to be involved. I like that three-team trade there with Calgary and Clarkson, with Vegas
Hmm.
and Eichel. I really like that idea. That actually makes a lot of sense because everybody wins in that deal.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Buffalo gets some picks. Calgary gets a good player, and Vegas gets the guy they want.
yeah.
Vegas has to wait for their guy, but I'm with you.
I got another one for Tavares. I'm almost positive, unless somebody really comes out and outbids them, and that's possible because not Tavares. Did I say Tavares?
Yeah, you did say Tavares. You mean
Tarasenko.
Tarasenko?
Tarasenko. Uh, the New York Islanders. The New York Islanders.
Ooh, but man, they would have to. They don't. They don't have a lot of cap space, and they would have
It'd be
to.
dollar for dollar, but St. Louis isn't really rebuilding here. So I'll bring up the Islanders here and give you an idea of what it would look like. Now there's okay. I'll go through a couple teams that will probably be in on it. I would say I wouldn't doubt that the Washington Capitals would try to do something. I just don't know if they would have the pieces to do
For
it.
Tarasenko, really?
Well, first of all, he's Russian, and they got all the Russians in the land now.
All right,
Russia,
all right. Okay, that makes sense.
right? So, and just imagine Tarasenko and Ovechkin on the same line. Oh, oh, that would be disgusting. And and
See,
since
leave it up to the great Pearlo wisdom to come up with this kind of craziness.
well, who like there could be some things that they could do. I suppose it would be a difficult trade, though. That's the problem. That's the reason why I don't think it would happen. Uh, but you're talking about guys. This is like they're trying to get it to the trade deadline, and that's probably what they're telling Tarasenko. Can you wait to the trade deadline? Because that's when everybody's going to have the maximum amount of cap space, and we might even help you send you to where you really want to go. Then, right? That's what they're telling him right now. So if you're willing to wait till the trade deadline, but the New York Islanders were the big rumor for a long time, and usually where there's smoke, there's fire. And man, do they ever need a shooter like that on that team? Like desperately need a shooter like
Oh
that.
my gosh, if you could put him on the Islanders,
Yeah, I don't. The thing is,
oh
the return would be difficult. I think they would
yeah,
have to. I think they'd finally have to part with Josh Bailey. Uh, but and then I don't know. They pretty much have to give up the farm. They might even have
that
to
would
they
be the
might even
thing.
have to give up Oliver, like, but they need to go dollar like a they need to give up a player. So it would
Yeah,
have to be Josh Bailey. I would like at that point if Tarasenko is looking like a 35 goal scorer or something. I'm looking for Bailey, Wallstrom, and a first.
see right there, that is steep,
Well, Wallstrom is for sure. Yeah.
right? And the first round pick, that's another steep one too.
It's going to be
For
a late first. It's not that big of a deal to them.
okay, but
Do
still,
they even have their first? I should probably check that out because they traded a whole bunch of. Oh yeah, they do. They got their first.
Vegas does, yeah.
No, Islanders have their first
Oh,
now.
Islanders. Oh, yeah, yeah, they have their first. Yeah,
So they're going to be going hard. So that is probably what the package would look like. So other teams that may be interested got to be looking at something like that, like more than that, to take
yeah,
them.
yeah. That's
To
true.
take them.
Yeah,
So
that's true. Wow. Well, there you go, man. Jeez. Uh, Either way you slice it, it's gonna be. Look, no matter what anybody says, having Eichel in the league is good for the league. Okay,
yeah.
I just feel that having these
Oh,
type of good
of
players
course.
in the league
Yeah.
is always good for the league.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. Of course.
and them not being in the league is not always the best thing. So, however, a way we can get these guys playing, that's kind of what I'm all about. I'm always going to try to be that person that supports the players no matter what. You know what I mean? I can understand where Buffalo's coming from in this regard, as far as what their doctors say and what his doctors say. They have the rights to him. They basically say, look, if our doctor says you can play, then you should be out there playing. If you can't play, then that's going to be basically on you. So they're basically trying to put the thing on Eichel. You know what I mean? And make it be on him. Now that they've given him permission to do the surgery as well too, so now in the end, that's going to be all up to the player. Is he going to be able to be that guy and still continue to play even after this procedure or whatever the case is? That's the big question mark. How good do you feel about gambling with that kind of money?
Yeah, well,
Because let's face it, if his procedure doesn't work and he's not good, you are stuck like
I
Chuck.
don't think it's much of a gamble, to tell you the honest truth. MMA guys have had this surgery come back. Pretty much everybody comes back just as good as they were before from this surgery. MMA, football, everything. It's not the issue here is that with the surgery that Buffalo wants to do, which is basically just the surgery that I think this is an insurance thing. Buffalo's
It
insurance
sure sounds like it.
Buffalo's insurance company doesn't
Yeah.
what's not identify, what's the word I'm looking for, it doesn't there's a word I'm looking for, but it doesn't protect under the with this thing. So they've had to work something with their insurance company to set something up that they will allow the surgery to happen.
Oh, so they had to get a rider for their policy because their policy probably doesn't cover for this particular type of
That's what
procedure.
I'm trying to say. They don't recognize is the word I was looking. Why couldn't I come up with the word recognize? I don't know.
I don't know, man.
Jeez, yeah, tough one to come up with. Uh, they don't recognize the surgery, so they had to probably the insurance company have their people that have to look at the surgery, say, well, what can we do for this? Is there any way? How can we cover it? Blah 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 blah, and all of that stuff. And really, when it comes down to it, I don't think Eichel was leaving because of the surgery.
Okay.
Eichel was
All right.
leaving because Eichel was leaving, and he was just
Yeah.
got to the point where it was like, you know what? Yeah, man, this isn't probably working out. It's been on my
Yeah.
career's get
Whether he
my
needs a surgery or
I've
not.
been here a long time. My career's been getting old, and maybe I'm not even the right guy anyways because I have all those memories, and maybe it's just my heart's not in it anymore. And he's just being
Yeah.
honest, and they're like, it's probably a good idea just to wash us from all of this and see what we can get back for you. And it's unfortunate that it's had to go this way. I think if Adams would have
Yeah.
been there right from the get go, they would have been a lot better off. I like Adams a lot.
Yeah, I'm with you. I would agree.
But
I'd agree with you on
I mean,
that one.
I like Botterill too. But how stupid are you to? I'm sorry, but I can't say it any other way. How stupid is this ownership to take a rookie general manager in the situation they were in after they fired Murray? Like, are you freaking now? Adams is too. Apparently, he just happens to be a
Yeah.
brilliant guy.
Yeah.
But that one,
Yeah.
that was a tough Like that was a really tough situation for Botterill to be in. Kane was in there at the
Um,
time, and
I
oh
know. I
god.
know. Gosh, man. What? Jeez. Well, what do you think, Perlo, man? Do you think we should do this again?
Oh yeah, we'll do this again for sure.
Okay. I liked all the people in the chat here. Thank you very much for joining Oilers, man, and NHL Hockey News Reports and everybody else that hopped in. Really appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I really wanted to get your take on the whole Chicago thing, and I really wanted to kind of talk about this Taresenko and Eichel thing, just because it's been heating up, and it's kind of the forefront of everybody's minds right now. And I just wanted to get your take and what you thought about some certain things. And I think we should do this again, man. What do you think?
Oh yeah, for sure. We'll work out a time where we can do it again. I'm probably going to do a video on that thing. I've been stewing on what I was going to do for a video for that Chicago situation, and
Yeah.
talking to you about it really brought it out to the forefront in my mind that there's some
Okay.
there like I didn't even think about it They call it. They love to throw around the word systemic. You know that word they say. There's
I read that today too, in a response from a player. I read that
systemic
as well.
systemic problems. You know why they love to use that word in business? Because there's no person attached to it.
Yeah.
The system
Well,
is the problem, not anybody in the NHL
okay,
that
but see,
creates the system. It's just a
here's the thing:
systemic problem.
people create systems,
Well,
people
yeah,
create
but
leagues,
right.
people create.
But people also are, it's not what pops into mind. The average fan is going to hear system. Okay, they're working on a system. Okay, that's good. So you know what I mean? Like
It's
it.
amazing how, yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you
The
because they're
word
using
is
the buzzwords
the
to try
of course.
to deflect. You know what I mean? They're trying to use the buzzwords to deflect and be like,
Uh,
look, here's my whole thing about this whole thing, man. Look,
mhm.
to me, it's disgusting. It's it there to me. There's no excuse. There is absolutely no repents for any of this. There's nothing out there that you could say. There's nothing, there's no excuse, there's no reasoning why was allowed to happen. I I think honestly, man, I don't
I think this has
more
happened to.
punishment and more things need to happen, and Chicago needs to be made an example.
No, no. I'm sorry. That's not going to happen because
I
the
know,
things that need to happen are not going to happen to the right people. It's just not going to happen.
I know,
It's going to
I
happen to
know.
the Quinvilles of the world. Poor bugger. Seriously, I don't believe he knew. I don't believe he knew everything he was supposed to know there, and I don't believe that Stan Bowman, one of the greatest minds in this NHL, that did. That I don't believe it, and we'll find out. But you know what I was wrong about, and I mentioned it several times. I was wrong about Kucherov.
Okay,
I was wrong. They didn't.
okay,
It was that injury that he's got right now.
yeah,
It's it's completely related to the old injury, and
yep.
so it was circumstantial, and so I had to apologize live on air to all the Tampa Bay Lightning people, and I know they were watching, so
Hey,
I
man,
apologize.
it's
I apologize
that's the
to all of the people in the Tampa Bay franchise. So
that is the beauty of what we do here at Steel Flyers. It's the integrity that we have.
yeah,
It's it's the kind of truthfulness and the kind of we're not just giving you our opinion. We're giving you an educated opinion. We're giving you something that we've spent a lot of time and a lot of energy and effort looking at, studying, and following the game, and being able to bring you these types of educated opinions is very rare, I think. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people out there doing this, but I don't think they're doing it the way we are. So,
hmm
having said that, my man, I think we're going to call it a night. What do you think?
yep. Let's call her a day.
Thank you all very much for watching. Please hit the like and subscribe. Thank you all very much for all the thumbs ups and everything, too. Thank you all very much. Thanks to the great Pearlo Wisdom.
Mm.
Thanks, buddy. I can't wait to do this again, man. What do you think?
Yep, for sure. We'll definitely do it again, my friend. That was fun.
All right. How about that? Enjoy some of the frolic. Enjoy the rest of the games. We'll catch you all the next time.
Take
Thank you
care.
all very much for
See
watching.
you later, bud. Mm. Oh, was I looking at it that way?